Alright, let's kick off this new series with a bang. Let's start out with the first movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's right, today we are talking about Iron Man. So Iron Man focuses on the redemption story of Tony Stark. So Tony Stark is charismatic, he's rich, he's a genius, he's having one-night stands all the time. He's basically what every guy wishes he could be. Until one day when he's out presenting weapons in the desert, Tony is kidnapped by a group of terrorists who force him to build a weapon. Tony at this point feels very guilty for all the death and destruction he's brought onto the world by building all these weapons, and he's never had to answer for it. But now, his answer is Iron Man. So Tony uses the prototype Iron Man suit to escape. He gets back to the States and demands two things: a cheeseburger and a press conference. At the press conference, he says Stark Industries will no longer be building weapons. This angers Tony's partner, played by Jeff Bridges, who it turns out was the one behind Tony's kidnapping the whole time. Tony gives his new suit an updated look and officially becomes Iron Man, going out and saving a village from the terrorists that held him captive to begin with. Tony later learns on that Jeff Bridges is the one who's been trying to kill him, and Tony and Jeff Bridges have a match of rock'em sock'em robots. Jeff Bridges is killed and Tony only has one job left, and that's just read the cards. But Tony, being Tony, lets it slip that he's Iron Man. This movie is a solid movie. Its action is good, its characters are good, its jokes are good. And a lot of it's made possible by the casting in this movie. Robert Downey Jr. was born to play Tony Stark. He's charming, he's intense, and he's relatable. Jeff Bridges did a great job as well. He's supportive, he's warm, and when he has to flip the switch and become all mad scientist, he does it without missing a beat. Terrence Howard did very well as Rhodey. I forgot he was in this movie. He brings a nice lightheartedness that I feel like Don Cheadle may lack. It would have been interesting to see how that would have went if Terrence Howard was War Machine in the next couple of movies. Even when they show it in this movie and they tease it when he looks at the Iron Man suit and goes, "Next time." Little moments like that makes me wonder what would have happened if Terrence Howard stayed on. I wonder if he regrets, not sticking around for Iron Man. I know I would. Gwyneth Paltrow does a damn fine job as Pepper. Caring for Tony, but also having her boundaries. It's a character that feels very real. All of these characters feel very, very real. They're human. They're not just comic book cutouts. The comedy is done very well in this movie. It's done at the right spots, and it's not so in your face as later Marvel films would later become. I think some of the Marvel films should go back to the humor being just a little more subverted. Not much, just tone it down just a little bit. Like certain movies like Guardians, it works for, and it's fun to have a little, a few Avengers moments, but sometimes you just gotta dial the humor back just a little. That's my personal preference. Now, I'm not saying this movie is perfect by any means. The last half of this movie is kind of forgettable. I feel like Jeff Bridges' character kind of just goes from this calculating businessman to mad scientist, like at the drop of a hat, which is fun to watch Jeff Bridges do, but it doesn't make sense character-wise. He finds the Iron Man suit and rebuilds it, and all of a sudden wants to kill Tony and wreak havoc and kill agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It just feels very comic booky. He just switched. I guess maybe that's what you're going for, but from a film point of view, I would have liked to see a little more turn, a little more time with the villain to turn. Some of the effects are showing their age as well. Like when Iron Man goes flying for the first time, it just kind of seems a little... You could pick it out a little more. But yet again, this was 2008. And remember, back in 2008, superhero movies weren't as big as they are today, and they were either good or they were bad. You either had like movies like The Dark Knight or you had movies like Daredevil. And this is some credit I have to give to Iron Man. It is a good movie first, and it is a universe builder second. It's all about the characters and their stories and how they interact. And they do have little Easter eggs and hints to a bigger universe later, but that's not the main focus. They want to tell the story of Tony Stark and his redemption. And that is where the focus is, and that's why it is a good movie. And this is the problem I think DC is having. It's too focused on building universes and expanding it instead of just focusing on characters and their stories. That is what makes a good movie. It's those little moments. You can have big action set pieces and they're all great, but if you don't care about any of the characters involved, what is the point? That's why films like Batman vs. Superman didn't receive great critical reviews, or Suicide Squad. They both had potential to be great. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy Suicide Squad, but it is not a good movie for characters and their journeys. I don't mean to sound pretentious when I say their journeys, but it does matter. It does matter what these characters do and who they are, and that we care about them as an audience. Iron Man does his job and kicks off the Marvel Cinematic Universe with a bang. I say flick it. It's a great movie, good stories, great character, does his job perfectly well. Alright guys, what did you think of Iron Man? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy this, tune back next week. For every Sunday up until Avengers Infinity War, I'm going through every Marvel Cinematic Universe film in chronological order. That means next week we'll be doing the Hulk. Keep on binging, folks. And if you like more content like this, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, check out thegingerbinger.co for more content like this.